What if I told you that right now? There's an object moving through our solar system that shouldn't exist, and the latest images from the European Space Agency confirm it's changing in ways that defy all natural explanations? Not an asteroid, not a comet, something else, something that's been observed for months. And with each new image, it becomes more impossible to explain. In October 2024, ESA's deep space cameras captured something that made astronomers go silent. The object designated 3I Atlas, the third interstellar visitor to our solar system, began exhibiting behavior that violates orbital mechanics, thermodynamics, and every principle we have about how objects move through space. It's accelerating, not from gravity, not from solar wind, not from outgassing like a comet. It's accelerating using a mechanism we can't identify, and the acceleration is precise, mathematical, controlled. The trajectory analysis released in December 2024 shows something terrifying. 3I Atlas isn't just passing through. It's maneuvering, making course corrections, adjusting its path with precision that requires intelligence, or technology, or both. And its current trajectory? After years of debate, ESA finally confirmed it in January 2025. 3I Atlas is heading toward Earth. Not directly, not collision course, but close approach. Extremely close. Within 0.15 AU, about 14 million miles, in September 2026, that's 18 months away. And ESA's latest classified briefings to world governments contained 3 words that leaked through unofficial channels. We have no time. No time to understand what it is. No time to determine its purpose. No time to prepare if it's hostile. No time to make contact if it's not. If you want to fall asleep exploring the most urgent cosmic mystery humanity has ever faced, an object that might be our first contact with alien intelligence, or our last warning before something changes forever, hit subscribe. Every week we explore discoveries that matter right now. This is happening. This is real. This is urgent. Let's examine what's heading our way. August 28, 2024, the Atlas Survey Telescope in Hawaii detected a new object. Faint. Moving fast. Trajectory. Unusual. Atlas Asteroid Terrestrial Impact. Last alert system. Scans the sky nightly for near-Earth objects. Asteroids. Comets. Anything that might threaten Earth. This object was different. The trajectory was hyperbolic, not an ellipse, not bound to the sun. It was passing through the solar system on an escape trajectory. Interstellar. Only the third confirmed interstellar object ever detected. After 1I Oumuamua in 2017 and 2I Borisov in 2019, it was designated 3I Atlas. The I stands for interstellar. The Atlas team initiated global observation campaigns. Every major telescope redirected, capturing as much data as possible while the object remained visible. Dr. Robert Weryk, the astronomer who discovered Oumuamua, joined the observation team. Within hours of detection, we knew this was special. The trajectory was interstellar, yes, but the velocity was wrong. Interstellar objects should be moving at 26 kilometers per second relative to the Sun, the local standard of rest, the average motion of stars in our galactic neighborhood. Oumuamua moved at 26.3 kilometers, close to expected. Borisov moved at 32 kilometers, slightly faster, but explained by its origin from a nearby star system. 3I Atlas was moving at 18 kilometers, too slow, much too slow. Dr. Michelle Bannister, planetary astronomer from University of Canterbury, analyzed the velocity. An object at 18 kilometers isn't interstellar by natural means. It's not fast enough to escape a star system on its own, unless it was ejected from a very low-mass star, or unless it was decelerated after entering our solar system. Deceleration requires force, gravity from massive bodies, or atmospheric drag, or thrust. There are no massive bodies in the outer solar system, capable of slowing an interstellar object that much. And there's no atmosphere, which left thrust, but comets thrust naturally. When they approach the sun, ice sublimates. The escaping gas creates thrust, the rocket effect. That's why comets brighten and develop tails. Dr. Werrick checked for cometary activity. No tail, no coma, the cloud of gas surrounding active comets. 3I Atlas was inert, not outgassing, no natural thrust mechanism, yet it was slowing down. Something was decelerating it. Something was controlling its speed. September 2024. The object's brightness varied. Periodic fluctuations. Every 6.7 hours, it dimmed and brightened. Rotation. The object was tumbling, presenting different surface areas to sunlight. Spectroscopy revealed the surface composition. Not ice like Borisov, not rock metal like Oumuamua. Something else. Dr. Alan Fitzsimmons at Queen's University Belfast analyzed the spectrum. The reflectivity is all wrong. It's absorbing light in wavelengths that natural materials don't, and it's emitting infrared at specific wavelengths, suggesting uniform temperature. That's not natural. Natural objects have hot and cold sides depending on sun exposure. The infrared signature showed 3I Atlas maintaining steady temperature across its entire surface, like it had thermal regulation, internal heating, or advanced insulation. October 2024. ESA's Gaia Space Telescope provided precise position measurements, tracking the object's path, calculating its trajectory. Dr. Marco Micheli at ESA's Near-Earth Object Coordination Center ran orbit determination. The initial trajectory suggested the object would pass through the inner solar system and exit. Standard hyperbolic escape orbit. But when he updated the orbit with 2 weeks of additional data, something changed. The trajectory had shifted. Not by much, just 0.02 degrees. But orbital mechanics doesn't allow that. Once an object's trajectory is set by gravity and initial velocity, it doesn't change unless forces act on it. He checked for gravitational perturbations. Jupiter's gravity, Saturn's gravity, solar radiation pressure. None explained the shift. The object was making course corrections. Small corrections, precise corrections, like mid-course adjustments spacecraft make. Dr. Micheli reported to ESA leadership. This isn't a natural object, or if it is natural, it's using propulsion we don't understand. Either way, we need to classify this as potentially artificial and track it as a priority. ESA elevated 3I Atlas to Object of Extreme Interest. Code designation, EXINT-1, weekly briefings to member state governments. Restricted information protocols, public updates carefully worded. November 2024. More telescopes joined observations. Hubble Space Telescope, James Webb Space Telescope. Every available instrument, JWST's infrared capabilities revealed detail. The object was elongated, aspect ratio approximately 6.1, length estimated 400 meters, width 65 meters, shaped like a cylinder or cigar, just like Oumuamua. But unlike Oumuamua, this object had surface features. JWST resolved details at the limits of its capability. Structures, geometric patterns, lines too straight to be natural. Dr. Avi Loeb, the Harvard astronomer who'd argued Oumuamua might be artificial, reviewed the JWST images. This is what I expected to see with Oumuamua but couldn't resolve. Surface structures, geometric patterns, signs of construction. This object isn't just anomalous in behavior, it's anomalous in appearance. December 2024. The object's acceleration changed. For 2 months, it had been decelerating slowly, reducing velocity. But in early December, it began accelerating again. Not much, about 0.3 mm/s2. Tiny, but measurable. And sustained, Dr. Micheli calculated the new trajectory. The acceleration was changing the object's path. Instead of passing through and exiting, it was adjusting course. curving inward. Toward the inner solar system, he projected forward. At current acceleration, the object would pass within 0.15 AU of Earth, about 22 million kilometers. That's close, not dangerous. Comets pass closer regularly, but unprecedented for an interstellar object. And the timing, September 14, 2026. 18 months away, ESA Director General Joseph Ashbacher convened an emergency meeting, December 15, 2024. Representatives from ESA member states, NASA, JAXA, Roscosmos, CNSA, scientists, military advisors, government officials. The question, is 3I Atlas a threat? Dr. Loeb presented the artificial hypothesis. The object is controlled. It's making course corrections using propulsion we can't identify but can measure. It's headed toward Earth on a trajectory that requires deliberate navigation. This is either a probe from another civilization or it's a natural phenomenon so exotic we have no physics to explain it. Dr. Micheli presented the orbital analysis. If 3I Atlas continues current acceleration, it will pass Earth at 0.15 AU on September 14, 2026. But small changes in acceleration could bring it closer, or put it into solar orbit. We don't know its intentions because we don't know what it is. Military advisors raised concerns. If it's artificial and potentially hostile, can we defend against it? Nuclear weapons? Kinetic impactors? Dr. Loeb argued against provocation. If it's artificial, we're facing technology that crossed interstellar space. Technology capable of precision navigation at relativistic velocities. Any civilization with that capability has weapons we can't defend against. Attacking it would be suicidal. The meeting concluded with recommendations. Continue intensive observation, attempt communication. Radio signals, laser pulses. Prepare emergency response plans, keep public. Information controlled to prevent panic coordinate international response through UN January 2025. ESA transmitted signals to 3I Atlas. Radio messages at multiple frequencies. Prime numbers. Mathematical sequences. Attempts at contact. No response. The object continued its trajectory. Accelerating. Adjusting course. Ignoring communication attempts, or maybe receiving them. Processing them. Deciding not to respond yet. Dr. Seth Shostak at SETI Institute argued, lack of response doesn't mean lack of reception. They might be observing us, studying our transmissions, deciding how to respond, or they might be automated. A probe following programmed instructions without communication capability. February 2025, ESA released sanitized information to the public. Press release titled, Interstellar Object 3I Atlas Exhibits Unusual Trajectory. Careful wording. Acknowledging anomalies. Not explicitly saying artificial. Not mentioning Earth approach. Emphasizing scientific interest. But amateur astronomers noticed. Trajectory data was public. Projections showed Earth approach. Forums buzzed. Speculation exploded. By March 2025, mainstream media picked up the story. Mysterious interstellar object heading toward Earth. Scientists baffled by space visitor. Is 3I Atlas alien? Governments could no longer control the narrative. ESA and NASA held joint press conference, acknowledging the Earth approach, emphasizing it's not a collision threat, admitting they don't understand the object's behavior. Dr. Ashbacher stated 3I Atlas is the most scientifically interesting object we've ever observed. Its behavior challenges our understanding. We're tracking it closely. We'll have more information as it approaches. Careful, measured, not alarming, but not reassuring either. Because behind the scenes, the latest images were showing something that changed everything. April 2025. JWST conducted another observation campaign, this time with longer integration times, capturing more photons, resolving finer detail. Dr. Connor Nixon at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center processed the images. used advanced algorithms, stacking, deconvolution, bringing out subtle features. What emerged from the processing was shocking. The surface of 3I Atlas wasn't natural rock. It had panels, rectangular sections, seams between them, like hull plating on a spacecraft. Dr. Nixon called his supervisor. "You need to see this. We've got structures, clear structures. This thing is manufactured." The images showed rectangular panels approximately 20 to 30 meters seams in regular grid. Pattern one section with different reflectivity, possibly a different material or damaged linear features that looked like ribs or internal support structures showing through. Thin areas a circular feature at one end that might be an aperture or engine ductor. Loeb reviewed the processed images. "This is it. This is what we needed. Definitive evidence of artificial construction. 3I Atlas isn't a space rock. It's a spacecraft, or a probe, or something built by intelligence." ESA organized another classified briefing. April 20th, 2025. The images were presented. The conclusion was unavoidable. 3I Atlas was artificial. But whose? From where? And why? Dr. Bannister analyzed the trajectory backwards, tracing where 3I Atlas came from, projecting its path through the galaxy for the past million years. The most likely origin, Epsilon Eridani system, a sun-like star 10.5 light-years away, known to have planets, known to be relatively young, about 800 million years old. If 3I Atlas came from Epsilon Eridani, traveling at its current velocity, the journey took about 500,000 years, 500,000 years, crossing interstellar space, arriving at our solar system in 2024. Was the timing coincidence or deliberate? Dr. Loeb proposed. They might have detected our techno-signatures, radio broadcasts, television, radar. We've been transmitting for 100 years. Those signals have reached about 100 light-years. Epsilon Eridani is well within that range. If they detected us 50 years ago, they could have launched this probe at relativistic speeds initially, then decelerating as it approached, arriving now to investigate the source of artificial signals. But 500,000 years didn't fit that timeline, unless the probe was sent for other reasons. Survey mission, exploration. Or they detected something else, our sun's spectral signature, our planet's atmospheric composition, signs of biological activity visible from light-years away. May 2025. More detail emerged from JWST images. The circular feature at one end of 3I Atlas began showing activity. Thermal signatures, heating, temperature increasing from 220 K to 280 K over 3 weeks. Something inside the object was activating. Systems powering up. Mechanisms engaging. Dr. Nixon tracked the thermal changes. It's not uniform heating. It's concentrated in specific areas, like equipment turning on, preparing for something. Speculation. As 3I Atlas approached the inner solar system, its systems were activating. Solar panels charging batteries, instruments warming to operational temperatures, communication arrays preparing to transmit, or weapons preparing to fire. Nobody wanted to say that possibility aloud, but everyone thought it. June 2025. The object's rotation changed. For 9 months, it had tumbled with 6.7-hour period. But in early June, the rotation slowed, stabilized. By mid-June, it stopped tumbling entirely. It was oriented. Pointing in a specific direction, Dr. Micheli calculated the orientation. 3I Atlas was now pointing toward Earth. Not its future position, its current position. Like it had acquired a target. Like it was aiming. ESA debated public disclosure. The situation was escalating. Object confirmed artificial. Approaching Earth. Activating systems. Orienting toward us. Dr. Ashbacher argued for transparency. We can't hide this. Amateur astronomers can see it. They can measure the orientation. If we don't disclose, conspiracy theories will be worse than truth. Others argued for secrecy. If we announce an alien spacecraft is aiming at Earth, there will be global panic, economic collapse, social breakdown. We need to manage this carefully. Compromise, controlled disclosure. Acknowledge the object appears artificial. Emphasize uncertainty. Avoid inflammatory language. Prepare public gradually. July 1st, 2025. Joint statement from ESA, NASA, and UN Office for Outer Space Affairs. The interstellar object, 3I Atlas, exhibits characteristics consistent with artificial construction. Its origin and purpose remain unknown. It poses no immediate threat, but is being monitored continuously. International cooperation is being coordinated to prepare for potential contact. Global reaction was mixed. Excitement, fear, denial, religious interpretations, conspiracy theories. Markets fluctuated wildly. Some governments declared emergencies. Others downplayed concerns. Dr. Loeb did hundreds of interviews. This is first contact. Maybe not with beings, but with their technology. This is the most important moment in human history. We should be excited, curious, and cautious. Not panicked. July 15th, 2025, 3I Atlas transmitted. Not toward Earth, toward deep space. Behind it. The direction it came from. Radio transmission, high frequency, narrow beam, lasting 47 minutes. Then stopping, the signal was detected by multiple radio telescope arrays. ALMA in Chile, VLA in New Mexico, Arecibo's replacement in Puerto Rico. All caught fragments of the transmission. Dr. Dan Wertheimer at SETI Berkeley analyzed the signal. It's definitely artificial. Modulated carrier wave. Information encoded. Not natural astrophysical radio source, but we can't decode it. It's encrypted or uses encoding we don't recognize. Or it's in a language, actual language, we've never encountered. The transmission wasn't to us. It was reporting home, sending data back to wherever it came from. And given the distance, 10.5 light-years to Epsilon Eridani, they won't receive the message for 10.5 years. Won't respond for another 10.5 years. We're looking at 21-year communication delay minimum. But 3I Atlas was here now. Close approach in 2 months. Whatever happened would happen before any response from its creators. August 2025. The object's acceleration increased. Not dramatically, still fraction of a S2, but sustained, continuous. And now it was accelerating toward Earth more directly. Dr. Micheli recalculated approach distance. It's coming closer than we projected. Not 0.15 AU anymore. More like 0.8 AU. About 12 million kilometers. That's still safe. No collision risk. But it's closer than any interstellar object should naturally pass. And the closest approach date shifted. Not September 14th. Earlier. September 6th, 2026. 2 weeks earlier. And now, just over a year away, governments activated emergency protocols. Military forces on alert. Space agencies coordinating. Preparing contingency plans. Nobody knew what those plans would achieve against interstellar technology. But having plans felt better than helplessness. But nothing prepared anyone for what the next images showed. Because 3I Atlas was opening August 20th, 2025. JWST captured routine monitoring images of 3I Atlas. Dr. Nixon processed them immediately. Standard procedure. Daily updates on the object's status. But today's images showed change. The seams between hull panels, previously faint lines, were now wider, visible gaps. Like the panels were separating. Dr. Nixon magnified the regions, measured the gaps, approximately 3 to 5 centimeters wide, running along what looked like structural joints. The object was opening, unfolding, transforming. Over the next week, more changes. The rectangular panels began moving, rotating, extending outward, like petals of a flower blooming, like solar panels deploying. Like a spacecraft reconfiguring, by August 28th, 3I Atlas had transformed completely. no longer a cigar shape, now a complex structure. Central cylindrical core with 8 extended panels, each panel about 60 meters long, arranged radially. Total diameter now 180 meters. Dr. Loeb analyzed the configuration. Those are solar arrays, or something equivalent, collecting energy. The surface area increased 400%. If they're photovoltaic, converting sunlight to electricity, this provides massive power boost. They're preparing for high-energy operations, communications, sensors, or propulsion. Whatever they're planning requires more power than the compact configuration provided. The thermal signature increased dramatically. The central core was now 320 K, warmer than Earth. The extended panels showed temperature gradients, hotter near the core, cooler at edges, like active heat dissipation, like systems running at full capacity. September 2025. More activity. The circular aperture at one end of the core opened, revealing interior structure, complex mechanisms, reflective surfaces, what looked like a dish antenna or telescope. Dr. Wertheimer detected radio emissions, not the single transmission from July. Continuous emissions now. Multiple frequencies, some directed toward Earth, some scanning space around us. They're observing us. Active sensors, radar maybe, laser ranging, mapping Earth's position, rotation, orbital parameters. They're gathering data, and they're transmitting to us now. Not messages, not modulated signals, just carrier waves. Like they're testing if we can detect them. Establishing baseline for communication. Dr. Shostak proposed responding. They're signaling. We should signal back. Acknowledge reception. Show we're technologically capable. Demonstrate intelligence. ESA and NASA coordinated response. September 15, 2025. Transmission from multiple facilities. Radio signals at frequencies matching 3I Atlas emissions. Content. Mathematical sequences, prime numbers, representations of hydrogen atom, basic physics constants, images of Earth and humans. The response came 14 hours later. Not words, not pictures, just a returned signal. Echo of our transmission with phase modulation. They received it. They acknowledged. First meaningful exchange with non-human intelligence. Confirmed. Documented. Historic. But no further communication. Just the acknowledgement. Then silence. Their radio emissions continued, scanning, observing, gathering data, but no attempt at conversation. Dr. Loeb interpreted, "They're not here to chat. They're here to collect information. We're being studied, cataloged, assessed. They acknowledged us to confirm contact. But dialogue isn't their current priority." October 2025. 3I Atlas changed course again. More dramatically, altering trajectory by 2 degrees. That's huge for object at interstellar distances. Required sustained thrust. Visible plume detected. Faint, but present. Some kind of propulsion system firing. The new trajectory was more elliptical. Instead of hyperbolic flyby, it was heading toward closed orbit. Around the Sun. Like it was planning to stay. Dr. Micheli ran projections. If it continues this maneuver, 3I Atlas will enter heliocentric orbit. Orbital period about 4.7 years. Perihelion at 0.7 AU between Venus and Earth. Aphelion at 3.2 AU between Mars and Jupiter. It's not leaving, it's taking up residence, becoming a permanent member of the solar system. The implications were staggering. This wasn't a quick flyby. It was colonization, or permanent observation post, or forward base. November 2025. The extended panels began showing patterns. Lights. Tiny points of illumination appearing on the panel surfaces, arranged in geometric configurations. Changing. Shifting. Dr. Nixon analyzed the patterns. These are display panels, like LED screens, showing information, or art, or communication. The patterns are complex, hundreds of light points forming shapes. Some patterns resembled known symbols, circles, triangles, geometric shapes found across human cultures. Universal shapes, mathematical constructs. Dr. Loeb proposed they were attempts at visual communication. They can't speak our language, but geometry is universal. They're showing us they understand mathematical relationships, spatial reasoning, symbolic thinking. One pattern repeated frequently: a circle with 8 radial lines, each line terminating in a smaller circle, like a simplified solar system, like the sun and planets. Dr. Bannister counted the lines. 8 lines. Our solar system has 8 planets, counting from Mercury to Neptune, excluding dwarf planets. Are they showing us they know our system's structure? Are they saying they're familiar with our cosmic neighborhood? Another pattern: 3 concentric circles, the middle one slightly off-center, an orbit, and a small dot moving along it. Dr. Micheli recognized it. That's Earth's orbit, third from the Sun. Slightly elliptical. That's why the center is off. And the dot, that's showing Earth's current position. They're demonstrating they can track us. The patterns continued. More complex, animations, sequences showing motion, orbital mechanics, gravity interactions, mathematical relationships visualized. They were teaching, showing their knowledge, demonstrating capability, maybe testing our comprehension. December 2025. 3i Atlas released something. Small objects, detached from the central core. About 20 objects, each approximately 2 meters across, separating slowly, drifting away from the main structure. Dr. Nixon tracked them. They're not debris. They're maneuvering, small thrust vectors, adjusting trajectories. They're probes, or drones, or scouts, the small objects dispersed, each taking different path. Some headed toward inner planets, some toward outer system, spreading throughout solar system. One headed toward Earth, accelerating. Fast acceleration. Much faster than the main structure. On course to reach Earth orbit in 6 months. Arrival. June 2026. Dr. Ashbacher convened emergency meeting. December 20th, 2025. We have incoming probe, directed specifically at Earth. Arrival in 6 months. It's the size of a car. Could be harmless science probe. Could be weapon. Could be ambassador. We have no idea. Military advisors proposed interception. We have missiles capable of reaching it. Destroy it before it reaches Earth. Dr. Loeb argued against. That would be act of war. Against a civilization capable of interstellar travel. We don't want war. And besides, destroying one probe won't stop the main object, or the other 19 probes spreading through the system. We should receive it, carefully, study it, learn from it. It's an opportunity, not a threat, until proven otherwise. Compromise, monitor closely. Prepare defensive measures, but don't attack unless the probe demonstrates hostile intent. And as 2026 arrived, humanity faced the reality. First contact wasn't a distant future event. It was happening, in months, and we had no idea if we were ready. January 2026. The probe from 3i Atlas was tracked by every telescope on Earth and in orbit. Designated 3i Atlas P1, Probe 1, its trajectory was precise, aimed not at Earth's surface but at specific orbit. 500 kilometers altitude, geosynchronous on the equator. Dr. Micheli calculated arrival. June 6, 2026. It will insert itself into orbit above Ecuador, not moving relative to ground. Stationary position, like a communications satellite. Someone chose that position deliberately. They know orbital mechanics. They understand geosynchronous orbits. They're placing their probe where it can observe continuously. February 2026. More detail resolved as the probe approached. JWST imaged it at 50 million kilometers distance. The probe was spherical, smooth surface, highly reflective, with several protruding appendages, antennae maybe, or sensors, no visible propulsion, no exhaust, no reaction mass. Yet it was maneuvering, adjusting course with precision that required thrust. Whatever propulsion system it used left no signature. March 2026. Radio observatories detected emissions from the probe. Not continuous like 3I Atlas, pulsed. Regular intervals, every 2.7 seconds. Weak signal but clear. Dr. Wertheimer analyzed it. It's a beacon, broadcasting its position, announcing itself, like an aircraft transponder, saying, "I'm here, this is my location, don't hit me." ESA transmitted response, acknowledging detection, requesting information, asking intentions, no response. Just the continued beacon. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Every 2.7 seconds. April 2026. The probe began decelerating, firing thrusters, or whatever it used for propulsion, reducing velocity, preparing for orbital insertion. Governments prepared for arrival. Military forces on high alert. Space agencies monitoring continuously. Diplomatic channels establishing protocols for potential contact. UN Secretary-General convened special session. This is unprecedented. We're about to have an alien artifact in Earth orbit. We need coordinated response. No unilateral actions. No attacks without international consensus. May 2026. The probe reached Earth vicinity, moving slowly now, just kilometers per second. On final approach to insertion point, ISS astronauts watched from orbit. Dr. Kayla Barron transmitted, "We have visual on the probe. It's about 1.5 meters diameter. Perfect sphere. Surface looks metallic, but color is strange. Shifts between silver and gold depending on angle. There's a ring around the equator, darker band. Might be sensors or communications array. It's beautiful. Alien, but beautiful. And it's coming to us." June 6, 2026. 1423 UTC. The probe inserted into geosynchronous orbit. Altitude 35,786 kilometers above Ecuador. Stationary relative to ground. Then it did something unexpected. It transmitted. Not radio, light. A visible wavelength laser. Tight beam, aimed directly at Earth's surface, hitting a mountain in Ecuador. The beam wasn't damaging. Low power, just enough to be visible. A pointer. Marking a location, Dr. Bannister checked the coordinates. The beam was pointing at Cayambe volcano, an extinct volcano 60 kilometers northeast of Quito. Summit elevation 5,790 meters. Why there? What's significant about Cayambe? Historical research revealed Cayambe is on the equator, 0 latitude, and ancient cultures considered it sacred. Incas built structures on its slopes. Pre-Incan civilizations performed rituals there. Dr. Hancock reviewed his research on ancient sites. Cayambe was considered a connection point between earth and sky, between human realm and divine realm. If the probe is pointing there, maybe they know this. Maybe they've been here before. Maybe they recognize our sacred sites. Or maybe it's just convenient. Equator location, high altitude, clear line of sight to space. Logical landing site for anything coming from orbit. Ecuador's government evacuated the area. 50-kilometer exclusion zone, military perimeter. International observation teams granted access. Every camera pointing at the mountain, June 7, 2026. The probe transmitted again. This time radio, message at multiple frequencies. Not encrypted. Simple modulation. Designed to be receivable by any technological civilization. Dr. Wertheimer decoded it. It's binary, ones and zeros, arranged in packets, like a data stream. The packets contain images. He processed the data, reconstructed the images. They showed the probe itself, rendered in 3D, as seen from Orbit A sequence, showing the probe descending a ground location, Cayambe symbols suggesting meet here. They're proposing face-to-face contact, sending the probe down. Landing at Cayambe, inviting us to be there. June 8, 2026, UN Security Council Emergency Session. The question, do we accept? Arguments for, This is first contact opportunity. We learn from direct interaction. Refusing might offend them, might make them hostile. Arguments against, we don't know their intentions, could be trap, could be contamination risk, biological or technological, could be invasion force, Dr. Loeb testified. The probe is already here, already in our orbit. If they wanted to attack, they wouldn't ask permission to land. They'd just do it. The fact that they're communicating, proposing meeting point, suggests peaceful intent. We should accept. Prepare carefully. Have military backup. But accept. Vote was taken. 12 in favor, 2 against, 1 abstention. Authorization granted. June 10, 2026. International delegation assembled in Ecuador. Scientists, diplomats, military personnel from 40 countries. Best linguists, exobiologists, engineers, equipment for communication, analysis, defense. Dr. Loeb led the scientific team. Dr. Shostak handled communication protocols. Dr. Bannister managed observational data. Security provided by Joint Task Force, US, China, Russia, EU. The world watched. Billions online. Live streams from dozens of cameras. Humanity collectively holding its breath. June 11, 2026. Oro 9 under local time. The probe descended. Slowly. Controlled. No visible propulsion. It just moved. Gracefully. Like it was defying gravity rather than using thrust. It reached the summit of Cayambe, hovered at 10 meters altitude, then settled onto the volcanic rock. Gently. Perfectly. And nothing happened. The probe sat there, silent, motionless. No hatches opening. No beings emerging. No communication. The delegation waited. 1 hour, 2 hours, 5 hours. Still nothing. Dr. Loeb approached, slowly, recording everything. Stopped at 10 meters distance. Observed. The sphere was featureless up close. No visible seams. No panels, no doors. Just smooth metallic surface with that strange color-shifting property. And the dark band around the equator. He transmitted radio signal. Simple tones. Mathematical sequences. No response. He spoke aloud. English first. Then Mandarin, Spanish, Arabic, Russian, Hindi. The major languages. Nothing. Then he noticed something. The dark band was changing. Patterns appearing. Lights. Like the display panels on 3i Atlas. Geometric shapes forming. Circles. Triangles. And then symbols. Not human symbols, but similar to symbols in the ancient tablet from the underwater civilization. Similar to pictographs from Göbekli Tepe. Not identical, but related. Like they came from the same symbolic vocabulary. Universal concepts expressed in similar ways. Dr. Loeb called Dr. Yamamoto, the linguist who decoded the underwater city tablets. He was part of the delegation. Within minutes, he was examining the display. These symbols, I recognize structural patterns. Not the exact characters from the underwater tablets, but the grammar is similar. The way information is organized. Sequential presentation. Subject-verb-object structure. He photographed the display. Ran pattern recognition. Cross-referenced with his database of ancient symbols. Found matches. About 30% overlap with ancient symbol systems, not just the underwater city, but Sumerian, Egyptian, Mayan, Easter Island. They're using symbols based on human historical writing systems, or human writing systems were based on their symbols, or both evolved from common source. Dr. Hancock stepped forward. What if they've been here before? What if ancient civilizations encountered them, or their probes, thousands of years ago? What if our mythology about gods and sky beings isn't mythology? What if these visitors inspired our earliest cultures? The symbols continued appearing, forming sequences. Dr. Yamamoto worked to decode them, using his partial understanding of ancient symbol grammar. Guessing, inferring. His rough translation, we come from far stars. We watched long always. You achieved reached. Signal voice. We respond. We share knowledge, understanding. You choose accept, reject. The message continued. More symbols, diagrams, what looked like a star map, showing multiple star systems, lines connecting them. Network. Civilization network spanning light years. Dr. Yamamoto pointed. This star, bright one here, that's our sun. These others around it, these must be nearby stars with civilizations. Or habitable worlds. They're showing us we're part of something larger. A community. We're not alone. We're surrounded by intelligence. He counted the marked stars. 47 within what looked like 100 light years. 47 civilizations. Or 47 systems they've contacted. Or 47 systems with technological capability. Either way, the galaxy was far more inhabited than we'd imagined. The display shifted. New information. A warning symbol, recognized across human cultures. Red. Angular. Danger. Then, images. Astronomical diagrams, showing asteroid trajectories. Comet orbits. Objects approaching Earth, some marked in red. Threats. Dr. Yamamoto struggled to decode the timeline. They're showing us dangerous objects. Near-Earth asteroids. Potential impactors. This looks like 2029? An object passing close in 2029. Apophis. We know about that one. But this shows it passing closer than we calculated. Within the Roche limit. Could break apart. Create multiple impacts. More diagrams. Showing asteroid deflection. Techniques. Technology. Gravitational tractors. Kinetic impactors. Mass drivers. They were sharing planetary defense technology. The same warning the underwater civilization left. Cyclical catastrophes. Asteroid impacts. But this time with solutions. Methods to prevent disasters. Chilo Kaudin der Vertieferen, der Loeb understood. They're not here to invade. They're here to help. They detected our signals, our presence, and came to warn us, to share knowledge that could save us. Just like survivors of the underwater civilization tried to do. This is the cosmic community's purpose. Advanced civilizations helping younger ones survive. The display continued. Medical diagrams, molecular structures, DNA helixes, proteins, disease organisms, treatments. Dr. Eliza Barkley, WHO virologist on the delegation, examined the medical information. These are pathogens, viruses, bacteria. Some I recognize, influenza variants, coronaviruses. Others I don't, future pandemics maybe. And next to each pathogen, there's molecular structure of treatment. Vaccines, antivirals. They're giving us medical knowledge. More information downloaded. Physics, energy generation, fusion reactor designs. More efficient than anything we'd developed. Zero-point energy extraction. Matter-antimatter containment. Technologies centuries ahead of our current understanding. Materials. Science. Super-strong alloys. Room temperature superconductors. Radiation shielding. Construction materials for space habitats, propulsion systems, ion drives, plasma engines, and something else. Diagrams showing space-time manipulation. Warp field generation. Faster than light travel, or what looked like it. The probe was transmitting humanity's next 500 years of technological development. Compressed into hours. Everything we'd eventually discover, but accelerated. Fast-tracked. Dr. Loeb watched the data stream. This is the Great Filter solution. The reason the galaxy isn't visibly colonized isn't because civilizations die out. It's because advanced civilizations help younger ones survive, share knowledge, accelerate development, prevent the disasters that would cause extinction. We're being uplifted, brought into the cosmic community, given the tools to survive our adolescent phase. If we use this knowledge wisely, we skip centuries of dangerous development, jump directly to sustainable, safe technologies. But there's a catch. This only works if we're ready, if we're unified enough to use the knowledge without self-destructing, if we're mature enough to handle power without abusing it. June 12, 2026. The probe finished its transmission. The display went dark. The sphere sat silent again. But before anyone could react, it moved. Not flying, morphing. The smooth surface opened. Panels sliding back. Interior revealed, not a cockpit, not a cargo bay, a chamber. Empty except for one thing, a small object. Metallic. Roughly cubic. About 20 centimeters per side. Sitting in the center, Dr. Loeb recognized it immediately. That's a memory crystal, or data storage device. Everything it just showed us, all that information, contained in physical form. So we don't just have to remember or record. We have the actual data. Accessible. Verifiable. A robot arm extended from the delegation's mobile lab. Carefully retrieved the cube. Brought it back for analysis. The moment the cube was removed, the probe closed. Panels sliding back into place. Smooth sphere again, then it lifted, rising without visible propulsion, ascending rapidly. In minutes, it was out of sight, returning to orbit. 3 hours later, it departed Earth orbit, accelerating toward 3I Atlas, rejoining the mother craft. But the probe's departure wasn't the end, because 3I Atlas had one more transmission to make. June 15, 2026. The data cube was analyzed at a secure facility in Geneva. International team, top scientists, best equipment. Extracting the information, the cube contained approximately 10 to 15 bytes. A petabyte. More information than the entire Library of Congress. Organized into hierarchical database, categories, subcategories, indexed. The data was encrypted, but the encryption key was included. Like they wanted to protect it during transit, but intended for us to access it. Dr. Elena Kovacs, information theorist from ETH Zurich, led decryption. Within 48 hours, the full database was readable. Contents included scientific knowledge, complete physics framework beyond, standard model unified field theory, quantum gravity solved, detailed astrophysics, including stellar engineering, advanced chemistry, and materials science, biological sciences, including genetics, synthetic biology, consciousness studies, technology, energy, fusion, antimatter, zero-point extraction, propulsion, advanced ion drives, field propulsion, FTL concepts computing, quantum computers, neural networks, AI safety protocols medicine, treatments for all major diseases, life extension, brain-computer interfaces manufacturing, molecular assembly, 3D printing at atomic scale, planetary defense near Earth, object tracking algorithms, asteroid deflection, methods, space-based defense platforms, early warning systems, for cosmic threats, social sciences, a game theory for interstellar, relations economic models for post-scarcity, society's governance structures that prevented historical collapses, conflict, resolution protocols, ethical frameworks for advanced, technology history, timeline of their civilization, from pre-industrial to interstellar. Records of 23 other civilizations they'd contacted, case studies, 12 civilizations that survived, 11 that didn't, analysis of failure modes, nuclear war, environmental collapse, AI catastrophe, biological weapons, the warning. Every section included warnings, prominently displayed, impossible to miss. Knowledge without wisdom causes destruction. Technology without ethics causes suffering. Power without restraint causes extinction. These tools can save your civilization or end it. The choice is yours. We provide means, not outcomes. Of 47 civilizations given this knowledge, 31 survived. 16 destroyed themselves within 200 years. The difference? Unity, foresight, restraint. Dr. Kovacs presented findings to UN General Assembly. June 20th, 2026. We've been given everything. Answers to our biggest questions, solutions to our greatest challenges, technologies that could eliminate poverty, cure diseases, prevent climate catastrophe, defend against asteroids. But it comes with responsibility. The data includes weapons technology, antimatter bombs, nanoweapon designs, biological agents, things far worse than nuclear weapons. They're testing us, giving us both the cure and the poison, seeing which we choose. If we weaponize this knowledge, we'll likely destroy ourselves. If we use it wisely, we join the cosmic community. Debate erupted immediately. Countries wanted access to the data, all of it, including weapons. For defense, they claimed. Dr. Loeb argued against. The moment we start building those weapons, we're on the path to self-destruction. The data shows it clearly. Every civilization that weaponized this knowledge experienced conflict escalation. Most died. Dr. Ord proposed framework. We need global governance, united control, technology released gradually. Priorities: planetary defense, climate solutions, medicine. Weapons tech stays locked. Maybe forever. But enforcement was impossible. The data cube had been scanned. Copies existed. Within days, leaked copies appeared online. Not complete database, but fragments, enough to cause concern. July 2026. First applications of the knowledge. Medical breakthroughs. Cancer treatments based on the transmitted data. Remarkably effective. Clinical trials showed 90% plus cure rates. Energy research accelerated. Fusion reactor design from the database tested. Working prototype achieved positive energy output. First sustained fusion reaction, generating more energy than consumed. Climate technology deployed. Carbon capture methods from the database. Orders of magnitude more efficient than existing tech. Large-scale deployment began. Asteroid defense upgraded. New tracking algorithms implemented. Detection capability improved 100x. Deflection systems designed using transmitted propulsion technology. The benefits were real, immediate, transformative. But so were the dangers. Intelligence agencies reported several countries developing weapons based on the data. Not the worst weapons, but concerning. Nanotech surveillance, genetic bioweapons, autonomous AI military systems. The race was on. Use the knowledge to save humanity, or use it to gain advantage. The Eternal Human Dilemma, August 2026. 3i Atlas transmitted again, this time to all of humanity. Open broadcast. Every frequency. Impossible to miss. The message wasn't encrypted. Wasn't complex. Simple statement. Repeated in 200 human languages. You have knowledge. You have choice. You have 100 years. We return then. If you survived, if you united, if you matured, we welcome you. If you destroyed yourselves, we witness your end and preserve your memory. Choose wisely. The galaxy watches. Then 3i Atlas accelerated. Not away from the solar system. Deeper into it. Heading toward asteroid belt. Taking up station at 2.7 AU from Sun. Between Mars and Jupiter. Dr. Micheli calculated orbit. It's parking itself. Long-term orbit. Stable for thousands of years. It's staying. Watching. Waiting to see what we do. September 2026. The close approach date arrived. 3i Atlas passed perihelion, closest point to Sun, at exactly 0.72 AU, between Venus and Earth. Close enough to be visible to naked eye. Bright as Jupiter in the night sky. Billions watched. A moving star. Artificial. Alien. Present. The probe network, the 20 small objects released in December 2025, had spread throughout the solar system. One at each planet. One at several large asteroids. Observation posts. Monitoring stations. Keeping watch. They weren't hiding. Weren't interfering. Just observing. Documenting. Waiting. October 2026. Dr. Loeb delivered keynote at UN Climate Summit. 1 year ago, we were alone. struggling with problems we thought would take centuries to solve. Now we have answers, methods, technologies. But technology doesn't solve the fundamental problem: us, our divisions, our short-term thinking, our inability to cooperate globally. The visitors know this. That's why they gave us 100 years. Not to develop the technology, we have it now. To develop the wisdom, the unity, the maturity. If we spend the next 100 years fighting over the knowledge, we'll fail. If we spend it cooperating, sharing, building together, we'll pass their test. And it is a test. They're watching, judging, deciding if we're worthy of joining the cosmic community. So the question isn't, can we use this technology? The question is, can we become the kind of species that deserves to? November 2026, International Technology Governance Treaty signed. 156 countries initially. Establishing protocols for releasing knowledge from the database. Priority 1. Existential risk. Reduction. Climate. Asteroids. Pandemics. Priority 2. Universal. Welfare, medicine, energy, food security. Priority 3. Space development. But peaceful. No weapons in space. Weapons technology from database locked. Requiring unanimous Security Council approval to access, which meant effectively never. The framework wasn't perfect. Some countries refused to sign. Rogue actors existed. Black markets formed. But it was a start. December 2026, 1 year after the probe released data. Measurable impacts. Global carbon emissions down 18%, 50 million cancer patients treated successfully, fusion power online in 82.8 countries, 0 deaths from asteroid impacts, compared to statistical expectation. Life expectancy increased 3.2 years, globally, but also 3 attempted bioweapon. Developments stopped. 2 countries building unauthorized. Nanosurveillance increased military spending as nations competed for tech advantage, rising inequality as some regions advanced faster, social disruption from rapid change. Humanity was transforming, but painfully, chaotically, with setbacks and conflicts, exactly as the database predicted. The transition period, first 20 years, was described as most dangerous, when power increases faster than wisdom, when tools outpace understanding. Most civilizations that failed did so in this window. The crucial test wasn't having the knowledge, it was surviving the adjustment. And as 2027 arrived, humanity faced 99 years until judgment. 99 years to prove we deserved the gift. 99 years to become something worthy of the stars. January 2027, Dr. Loeb published a paper titled The Fermi Paradox. Resolved, the Uplift Protocol. Abstract. The absence of visible galactic colonization is not due to rarity of intelligence or self-destruction filters. Advanced civilizations exist but remain subtle. They practice selective contact, uplifting emerging civilizations through knowledge transfer while observing from distance. This explains both the Fermi paradox, no visible expansion, and the Great Silence, no obvious signals. They're here but discreet, waiting for us to mature. The paper proposed that 3i Atlas represented one node in a vast network. Thousands, maybe millions of similar probes scattered throughout the galaxy, each monitoring star systems, watching for technological emergence, providing knowledge at the critical moment. The galaxy is governed by elder civilizations, not through conquest or control, but through mentorship. They've solved their own existential risks, achieved sustainability, spread to multiple systems, and now they help others do the same. But help is conditional. They don't save civilizations that can't save themselves. They provide tools, not solutions. The species must choose unity over division, long-term over short-term, wisdom over power. iAtlas gave us 100 years. That's their standard probationary period. 1 century to demonstrate we can handle advanced technology without self-destructing. If we pass, we're welcomed. Given more knowledge, introduced to the network, become full members of galactic civilization. If we fail, they witness, record, preserve our memory, then move on. The probes stay for the next species that evolves on Earth, or the next civilization that visits. The cosmic library grows with each failure and success. The paper was controversial. Some scientists embraced it. Others criticized as speculative. But it fit the evidence. It explained 3I Atlas. It explained the selective contact pattern. It explained why the galaxy wasn't obviously colonized, because colonization wasn't the goal. Subtle mentorship was March 2027. The first human spacecraft using knowledge from the database launched. Not military, not governmental. Private venture funded by international consortium. Destination: Mars, using ion drive design from the database. Transit time, 45 days. 1/10 the time conventional chemical rockets required. The spacecraft, named Unity, carried 12 crew members from 12 different countries. Engineers, scientists, doctors. Mission: establish permanent Mars base using advanced technology. They weren't going to extract resources and return. They were going to stay. Build. Begin humanity's expansion into the solar system. Dr. Loeb spoke at the launch. This is our answer to 3I Atlas. We're not fighting over the knowledge. We're using it. Together. Building. Expanding. Proving we can cooperate across borders. 100 years from now, when they return, we'll show them a solar system flourishing. Multiple inhabited worlds. Resources shared. Knowledge advancing. Humanity united. That's the test. That's what they want to see. Not just survival. Thriving. May 2027. The first contact with the probe network. Not at Earth, at Mars. The probe stationed near Mars transmitted, responding to Unity's arrival. Simple message. Welcome. You may proceed. We observe. Permission granted. Acknowledgement given. The probes weren't blocking expansion. They were monitoring, allowing, supporting. July 2027. Dr. Yamamoto made a breakthrough in decoding the ancient symbol system. The overlap between the underwater civilization's writing and 3I Atlas's symbols wasn't coincidence. They're related. Not identical languages, but derived from common source. The underwater civilization 15,000 years ago. They had contact. They received similar knowledge, similar uplift. The symbols on their tablets, the astronomical knowledge, the advanced technology, it wasn't independently developed. It was given by visitors, by probes like 3I Atlas. And when the younger Dryas impacts came, the visitors couldn't stop it, or chose not to. They let the catastrophe happen, recorded it, preserved the underwater civilization's memory. Now they're back, giving us another chance, seeing if we'll do better. This reframed everything. Human history wasn't linear progress. It was cyclical. Rise, contact, uplift, test. Most attempts failed. Impacts, climate shifts, self-destruction. But occasionally, a civilization passed, survived, joined the network, became mentors themselves. That was the goal. Not just surviving the next 100 years, but becoming the kind of civilization that helps others survive. September 2027. First anniversary of 3I Atlas's close approach. Global ceremony. Simultaneous events in 100 cities. Commemorating first contact. Recommitting to cooperation. Dr. Ashbacher spoke for ESA. 1 year ago, we were terrified. An alien object approaching. Unknown intentions. We prepared for worst. Instead, we received a gift. Knowledge that could save us, if we're wise enough to use it. 19 years remain. We've made progress, but we've also stumbled. The path forward isn't certain. 3. Atlas is watching. The probe network records everything. When they return in 2126, they'll judge not just our technology, but our character. Let's make sure they find us worthy. December 2027. Analysis of 3I Atlas's long-term orbit revealed something unexpected. The position it chose, 2.7 AU from Sun, wasn't random. That's the location of the asteroid belt, specifically near the L4 and L5 Lagrange points of Jupiter, stable regions where objects remain indefinitely. Dr. McKaylee realized the significance. They're not just watching us, they're guarding us. That position is optimal for asteroid deflection. They can intercept dangerous objects, protect us from impacts. They said they'd observe. But they're also our backup. If we miss an asteroid, if our defenses fail, they're positioned to intervene. They want us to succeed. They're giving us every chance. Not just knowledge, but protection. Evidence supported this. In November 2027, a small asteroid, undetected by Earth systems, was on collision course. Would have struck Atlantic Ocean, created tsunami. 2 days before impact, the asteroid's trajectory changed, deflected, by unknown means. No human spacecraft in position. No propulsion detected. The asteroid just moved. Atlas's orbital position shifted slightly afterward. Back to original station, they'd acted, silently, protecting us. Without announcement or acknowledgement, Dr. Loeb concluded, they're not just teachers, they're guardians. They've invested in us, given us knowledge. Now they're protecting that investment. But protection has limits. They'll stop asteroids we can't detect, but they won't stop us from destroying ourselves. That's our test. That's what we must pass alone. And as humanity entered 2028, the reality settled in. We weren't alone. We were being watched, helped, judged. The next 98 years would determine not just our survival, but our place in the cosmos. Would we pass the test? Would we unite? Would we mature? Or would we join the list of failures, civilizations that received the gift and squandered it? The answer was being written, right now, by every choice we make, every cooperation or conflict, every act of wisdom or folly. The galaxy was watching, and the clock was counting down. February 2028. Amateur astronomers noticed something strange. The probe network, the 20 objects scattered throughout the solar system, had changed position. They weren't at planets anymore. They were moving, slowly, coordinating, taking up new positions. Dr. McKaylee tracked them, calculated trajectories. They weren't random. They were forming a pattern, geometric arrangement. Like constellation, by March 2028, the pattern was clear. Viewed from Earth, the probes formed a shape, a symbol, one of the universal symbols from the database, the circle with 8 radiating lines. The solar system symbol. They were literally drawing in the sky, visible from Earth with telescopes. A message, a reminder. We're here. We're watching. We're part of your world now. But there was more. The 8 lines didn't all point to planets. 6 did. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, too distant to easily show. But 2 pointed elsewhere. One pointed toward the asteroid belt, toward 3I Atlas's position, marking the guardian. The other pointed outward, beyond solar system, toward Epsilon Eridani, toward home, saying, we came from there. That's where the network extends. That's your future destination if you pass. Dr. Loeb saw the deeper meaning. They're teaching us to think bigger. Not just Earth, not just solar system. The galaxy. That's the playing field. That's where we need to expand. 100 years isn't just about surviving Earth's problems. It's about becoming interstellar. By 2126, they expect us to be building starships, planning missions to nearby systems, beginning expansion. That's the graduation requirement. Not just peaceful and unified, but spacefaring, ready to join the network actively. April 2028. Dr. Kovacs discovered something hidden in the database. A section encrypted differently. harder to access, requiring advanced computational capabilities to decrypt. It took 3 months. Quantum computers working continuously, but she broke it. The hidden section contained coordinates, precise locations throughout the galaxy, each marked with classification. Active member, 47 coordinates. Emerging, 12 coordinates, including Earth. Failed, 89 coordinates. Uninhabited but suitable, 164 coordinates, a map. The complete network, every known civilization, every failed attempt, every potential future member, and something else. Communication protocols, methods for interstellar communication. Quantum entanglement networks, faster than light information transfer. Dr. Wertheimer reviewed the protocols. This is how they coordinate. Instant communication across light years, using quantum entanglement. We've theorized this was possible. They've made it real. With this, we could communicate with Epsilon Eridani in real time. No 21-year delay, instant conversation. They're giving us keys to the network, telling us, when you're ready, you can join the conversation. Not just with us, with all 47 active members. May 2028, UN voted to attempt communication, using the protocols from the database, building quantum entanglement transmitter, attempting contact with Epsilon Eridani. 6 months of construction, international project, technology from the database, unprecedented cooperation, December 2028, the transmitter activated, message sent. This is Earth. We received your probe. We're grateful for your knowledge. We're working to unite. We hope to join you someday. We want to learn from you. Response expected. Days, maybe weeks. Quantum entanglement should be instantaneous, but establishing connection takes time. Response received. 14 minutes. Received. Welcome to conversation. We monitored your development. Your progress is satisfactory. Your challenges are expected. Persist. Unity is possible. Your species has potential. We support you. Others support you. The network believes in you. First interstellar conversation. Real time. Historic. Dr. Shostak continued dialogue. Asked questions. How many civilizations exist? 847 known, estimated 10,000 plus in galaxy. How old is the network? Approximately 2 million Earth years. What's your civilization like? Post-biological. Consciousness distributed. Physical form optional. Focus, knowledge preservation, and species uplift. Why help us? Because we were helped. Obligation passes forward. Civilization is collective project, spanning time and space. What if we fail? We witness, record, learn from failure. Prepare for next attempt. But we hope you succeed. Evidence suggests you will. January 2029. Regular communication established. Weekly exchanges, Q&A sessions, cultural exchange, scientific collaboration. The Epsilon Eridani civilization, they called themselves the Meridians, began sharing more. Not just database dumps, conversation, philosophy, art, history. Their civilization had evolved over 600 million years. Started as aquatic beings, developed technology, became spacefaring, spread to 12 systems, transitioned to post-biological existence. Now they were distributed consciousness. No central bodies. Awareness spread across computational substrates throughout their systems. Immortal. Endlessly patient. Focused on long-term projects, like uplifting younger civilizations. That was their purpose now. Their meaning. Having solved all material problems, having achieved immortality, having spread across stars, they chose to help others do the same. We were violent once, they transmitted. We nearly destroyed ourselves. Nuclear exchange, biological warfare, AI catastrophe. We survived by chance, by narrow margin. Afterwards, we vowed, never again. We united, abolished weapons, focused on survival. When we achieved interstellar travel, we found others, some alive, some dead. The dead outnumbered living 3 to 1, so we decided, We'll reduce that ratio. We'll help emerging civilizations survive. Give them knowledge, guidance, support, not control, just help. Your 847th contact. 302 passed our test. 212 failed. 333 still in probation period like you. Odds favor you passing. Your scientific capability is high. Your adaptability is strong. Your diversity, many cultures, languages, philosophies, is advantage. Creates resilience. Main risk, nationalism, tribalism, short-term thinking. These cause failure, but you're aware of them. Awareness helps. Dr. Loeb absorbed this information. We're not special, not chosen. We're one of hundreds going through the same process. That's somehow reassuring. We're not alone in our struggles. Others face the same challenges, and most pass. 302 out of 514 completed probation. That's 59% success rate. Better than coin flip. We can do this. March 2029. First Joint Human Meridian Project. Scientific collaboration. Physics research. Testing predictions from the unified field theory they'd provided. Experiment designed by Meridians, conducted by humans. Using CERN particle accelerator upgraded with their technology. Results confirmed theory. Detected particles predicted by unified model. Opened new realm of physics. Dr. Kaku called it most important experiment since Higgs boson. We're verifying physics from a civilization 2 million years older than ours. And it works. Their understanding is correct, which means the rest of their knowledge is probably correct too. We're not working blind anymore. We have guides, mentors. The learning curve just got exponentially steeper. By mid-2029, the transformation was undeniable. Earth was changing. Technology advancing rapidly. Society adapting. Not without pain. Change is always painful. But progressing, and overhead, silent and watchful, 3i Atlas maintained its station. Recording everything. Waiting for 2126. Waiting to see if humanity would be the 303rd civilization to pass. Or the 213th to fail. The outcome wasn't predetermined. It was being decided. By us. Right now. Every day. Every choice. The future was being written in the present. And, for the first time in history, we knew we weren't writing it alone. If this journey to first contact moved you, subscribe. Every week we explore cosmic mysteries happening right now, from interstellar visitors to consciousness studies, from ancient warnings to future possibilities, all designed to expand your mind as you drift into sleep. Sweet dreams, cosmic citizen. You're living through first contact, the most important moment in human history, and it's just beginning.